You put the overripe fruit in the bin, you called the pest control company. They fogged the kitchen. Pyrethroid aerosol dispersed at ceiling level, filling the air. Adults died on contact. You wiped every surface, threw out every piece of fruit. 8 days later, 200 new fruit flies appeared from the same drain. You did not have a fruit fly problem. You had a drain biofilm problem. And the pest control company you paid $189 sprayed the air 4 feet above the breeding site without pointing anything at the source. The generation cycle of the fruit fly is 8 days, egg to adult. The source that produced the first 200 produced the second 200 on schedule, because no spray has ever reached it, and no exterminator service contract includes the 4-inch section of drain pipe where 84% of residential fruit fly infestations actually begin. The product your pest control company deployed is a pyrethroid aerosol dispersed in a thermal fogger. At commercial bulk pricing, $4.12 worth of pyrethroid per kitchen treatment. Labor, 20 minutes at $19 per hour, $6.33. Total cost to deliver your service, $10.45. Their charge, $189. Margin, 1,809%. On a service that the industry's own entomology documentation confirms cannot address the reproductive source. Here's why the 8-day timeline is the central problem that no fog can solve. Drosophila melanogaster, the common fruit fly, completes its entire life cycle in 8 days at room temperature. Egg, larva, pupa, adult, 8 days from the moment an egg is deposited to the moment a new adult emerges and begins laying 40 to 50 eggs per day. A fogging treatment on day 1 kills every adult present at the time of application. It does not reach eggs or larvae. Larvae are not in the air. They are not on the fruit. They are in the biofilm coating the interior of your kitchen drain pipe, the organic residue under your appliance motors, the fermented sediment at the bottom of a recycling bin. On day 8, the larvae that survived the fog complete pupation and emerge as adults. The new population is genetically identical to the one that was fogged. It emerges from the same drain, and it immediately begins laying the next round of eggs. The 84% figure, the proportion of residential fruit fly infestations that originate from drain biofilm, comes from a 1983 USDA extension study on kitchen pest ecology. It is cited in pest control certification courses. It does not appear in any franchise sales pitch. It would eliminate the service. Here is why the drain is the source, and why this is fermentation chemistry, not a cleanliness problem. The interior of a kitchen drain pipe accumulates a biological film, a mixed community of bacteria, food particles, yeast, and decomposing organic matter that adheres to the pipe wall in the first 4 to 8 inches below the drain opening. This film is not removed by water flow. It is not visible from above. It produces exactly the volatile compounds that fruit flies detect and require for egg deposition: acetic acid, ethanol, and acetaldehyde, the same fermentation products found in overripe fruit. From the fruit fly's perspective, your drain is a continuous, self-replenishing fruit source. It produces the attractant compounds. It is dark and humid. It is protected from predators and air movement. It is the ideal egg deposition site. Now here's where it gets genuinely useful. Because the same olfactory mechanism that draws fruit flies to the drain is what makes the vinegar trap work. Drosophila melanogaster locates fermentation sources through olfactory receptor neurons in its antennae. Specifically, the OR42B receptor protein responds to ethyl acetate, the ester compound produced by yeast fermentation. Apple cider vinegar contains ethyl acetate at a higher concentration than an active drain. A container of ACV outcompetes the drain as an attractant signal. The dish soap eliminates surface tension, preventing the fly from landing and taking off. The flies drown, but the trap alone catches adults. It does not eliminate the source. Stop. A classification before we continue. In 1987, following lobbying by the National Pest Management Association, Drosophila species, fruit flies, were formally included in the commercial vector control classification applied to food service establishments. Vector control classification means licensed pest control applicator required for commercial application. The classification was written for commercial food service, restaurants, food processing facilities, where fruit fly populations near food carry genuine contamination risk. The pest control industry's residential marketing adopted the same language. Franchise advertising for residential fruit fly services consistently uses the phrase Vector control, the same licensing trigger term, implying the same professional requirement applies to your kitchen. It does not. Residential fruit fly control is explicitly exempted from the vector control applicator requirement in every state. Homeowner application of any non-restricted substance is legal in all 50 states. But the vector control framing accomplished something more durable than a regulation. It positioned fruit fly treatment as a professional-grade service, in a context where the actual expertise required is to pour boiling water down a drain. That's the specific sentence the franchise marketing never includes. 3 organic sources sustain every residential fruit fly infestation past the first week of treatment. Drain biofilm. 4 to 8 inches inside every kitchen drain, every bathroom drain, every floor drain. Self-replenishing. Not addressed by any spray application because spray cannot adhere to a wet vertical pipe wall at that depth. Appliance motor drip trays. The condensation tray beneath your refrigerator. The drip reservoir under your dishwasher. The moisture collection area under any countertop appliance with a motor. These areas accumulate organic condensate that ferments. No pest control service opens an appliance. None of them touch these trays. Recycling bin sediment. The organic residue at the bottom of any container that is held liquid ferments and produces the same attractant compounds as a drain. A recycling bin that has not been rinsed and dried is a fruit fly nursery that no fogging service touches. The honest scope here: if your home borders an orchard, a compost facility, or a neighbor's property with outdoor fruit waste accumulation, outdoor adult pressure will continue. The protocol eliminates the indoor breeding cycle entirely, which removes the sustained infestation. 3 steps, in order, every week for 3 weeks. Step 1. Drain treatment. Boil a full kettle of water. Pour the entire contents slowly down each kitchen and bathroom drain. This disrupts the biofilm cell structure. Immediately follow with half a cup of baking soda, then half a cup of white vinegar. The carbon dioxide reaction physically scours the pipe surface, removing the organic layer the larvae require. Wait 15 minutes. Flush with hot tap water. Repeat weekly for 3 consecutive weeks. Step 2. Adult trap. A small glass or ramekin filled to half depth with apple cider vinegar. 3 drops of Blue Dawn, no stirring. Plastic wrap stretched over the top with 4 small holes poked with a toothpick. Place near the drain and on the counter near any fruit. Empty and reset daily for 7 days. Step 3. Source elimination. Every container that has held any liquid in your recycling, rinse it and dry it. Pull the refrigerator out and wipe the drip tray. Inspect appliance bases for organic condensate. Combined weekly cost, 19 cents. The drain treatment is the critical step. The trap alone without drain treatment extends the infestation indefinitely. The fogging service market generates $2.8 billion annually. 84% of what it treats is 4 inches above the actual problem. Tonight, pour boiling water down every drain in your kitchen and bathroom. Tell me in the comments how many drains you have and whether you saw debris or a biofilm ring on the drain cover when you lifted it. I want the count. Every person who treats their drain this week is 1 fewer fogging service call that generates 0 value. Next video. If you have houseplants, what I'm about to show you will explain why every plant spray you've tried made the problem worse. The gnats aren't in the air, they're in the top inch of your soil, and the compound that eliminates them in 72 hours is in the first aid aisle, not the garden center.